I'ma show you all what is happening before your scooter arrives to you. Kirin owns a huge factory where they assemble the scooters and test them in a lot of ways actually. Trust me, you won't believe how crazy that is. So please just make sure to stick around the entire video so you will see it all. Oh my god, dude, there is no way they're doing this with lasers. I really thought there was something else doing the logos and all that. This is actually so satisfying to watch. So they are using lasers in order to paint the logos for the scooter. The first thing in the assembly process is the metal frame that holds the front wheel. It is just crazy how many components they have just for that. Everything is installed manually with good care and precision. Then a serial number sticker is placed on the bottom. Your scooter that you just ordered might be right in his hands. Next they install the side logo LEDs in place. The lights on the G2 Master are absolutely gorgeous. Now the piece de resistance, the monstrous controller is being installed. For the size of it, you wouldn't expect that much power. But trust me, the G2 Master kicks just as hard as the G3 Pro, if not even harder. The front wheel frame comes right in place, tightened by a huge screw. Right after, the rear wheel frame gets in position, followed by, you guessed right, the rear motor. Literally minutes later, after the wheel steering frame is completed, another motor joins the party. Yes, my friend, the G2 Master has dual motors, 2000 watts that feel way more powerful in reality. I would say at least 3000 watts peak power. Now, obviously, they can't leave the wires hanging out all over the place. So yeah, they put them on their path. If you take your scooter and search for the wires, you will find that they are installed with very good care and precision. They even have a curly plastic thingy on them for extra protection. Moving on, all the wires eventually get to the controller and they are being connected together. If you're wondering, what is that black thingy right there? Well, that thing deals with your headlights, turn signals and horn. The other wires go to your screen and that's pretty much it. Obviously, every scooter needs a battery in order to work. You don't want your battery to shake inside your scooter. That's where these things come up. Without them, your battery would have a really hard time not getting damaged while you're riding on a bumpy road. Finally, everything is being closed. Even though this beauty has 5 levels of e-brake, mechanical brakes are still nice to have. Actually, mandatory. The installation is pretty straightforward. I really hope the new incoming models come up with stock hydraulic brakes. They are way more powerful and smooth. All the wires are being organized in place and then moved inside the scooter where a nice cover seals them in place. They still have to connect the wires on the handlebars. That will be your screen together with brake sensors, throttle, and all the other buttons. Really cool attention to details. They gather all the wires together so you won't have them wiggling around. Speaking of water splash resistance, they seal the wires in place with a special glue such that water won't get in. But still, don't wash your scooter at the car wash, please. Get your sponge and wash it manually. At this point, the scooter is 99% done. One guy takes it on the side and does the final checks for it. He makes sure that every single functionality is working. He even takes it for a small ride to be 100% sure. Now finally, the rubber deck. Pads come in place with a crazy level of precision and the tires get some treatment in order to hold in time. They can't just send you the scooter in that shape. There is another team that does the packaging itself. How cool is that? Again, that could be your scooter right there, heading towards you. The research and testing zone. This is where they take pretty much every component and check how much time will it resist under load. For example, this motor right here has been speeding for 63 kilometers in this session at the speed of 38 kilometers per hour. Yes, they actually test the components. Next up, they test the resistance of the throttle. That right there is the metal that holds your wheel in place. They also make sure it's not gonna break while you ride your scooter. They even test the batteries to see how many cycles they can handle. I saw some of you guys who were worried about your charger getting warm. That is completely normal. They are testing those chargers inside an oven to extreme temperatures, and yes, they still work. They even test the durability of your Kukirin box. Just look at that thing shaking the box like crazy. They don't do that with every single Kukirin. This is just for their research area. They also test the plastic fenders under a lot of heat to make sure they hold on. The most exciting part for me is the way they test the endurance of the frame itself. They have pistons that move it back and forward thousands of times. And not only that, but they even put it on some spinning tiny wheels and let it run to see for how much time it can do it. Brakes are also getting tested. They have an actual piston that pulls the brake handle and the motor that spins that disc brake. In real life situations, the scooters have way more challenges to face than what we see here. But yeah, keep in mind, they actually test the scooter. Even the charging port is being tested. How much time the wire can be bended until it dies. This is a big W for Kukirin from my side. Wow. It actually is quite fun to see the entire process, not gonna lie.